Hey, what is going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Babyface Phantump. That's right, I shaved. There you go, I shaved. Still have not gotten the haircut. It is getting long, but when the Brewers win the World Series, 9 in a row. When the Brewers win the World Series, we'll get it cut. It could be a while. We'll see what happens. I hope you guys are having a really good week so far. Happy Tuesday. Yesterday, I bought this. Actually, it was yesterday. Yesterday, I bought this binder right here. But really, what is cool is inside the binder. So I bought a collection from somebody who sent me a message, and they said, "Hey, Fanny, I want to sell off my collection. I have some adulting things going on. I have a full art trainer collection I'm looking to get rid of. Can I send it over to you? You can price it out and you can pay me for it." And I said, "Yeah, of course. I know exactly how you feel, because I do know exactly how he feels. I have sold off my entire collection twice in my life. Once when I got married and once when I bought a house." So it really kind of brought me back to those moments in time. Somebody telling me, "Hey, I've got some adulting situations coming up, and I could really use the money." It's tough out there. It is tough out there right now. So we're not going to go through everything in this binder. I guess we could if you really wanted to, but it's really, really cool. So we've got just, look at this. There's a Rosa up there. I'm just going to block myself here and show some crazy glare. Rosa, Skyla, Iris. So there's some older full art trainers from the black and white era. I mean, it goes all the way through. There's not every full art trainer in here, but there is, there's a lot of them. So we've got the Sun and Moon, Lily, Gladion. I'm covering Acerola teammates. There's the Ultra Prism Lily right over there. It's a really cool collection. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everything there, but it made me start thinking about the time when I sold off my collection the last time. So my wife and I, after we got married, we really wanted to buy a house, and unfortunately, times were a lot different. Housing market was completely different then than what it is now, and we ended up looking at a house and closing costs and things like that. It ended up costing a little bit more than what we anticipated it costing. And at that time, I had built up a decent sized collection of Pokemon cards. Collecting Pokemon cards was always something that I've done. It's just been very important. It's been a big part of my life. And unfortunately, we needed the cash. We needed the cash flow to put down at the closing so we'd close on our new house, and it just wasn't ideal. But unfortunately, I had to let my collection go at that time, and I ended up selling it for $3,000. I did it a little bit differently than I did when I got married. When I got married, I put everything in a box and just listed it on eBay. So this time I was like, well, I didn't get great value for it that time. So this time I posted it on Facebook. I put it in a group, and I got contacted by a store owner, and he said, "Hey, I'm looking at your collection here. I can offer you $3,000 for everything." And at the time I was like, it's a little bit lower than what I was hoping for, and understanding the entire situation. Like, obviously stores are going to have to price things a little bit lower. They're going to have to turn everything and profit off of everything. They're going to be facing fees on TCG Player or on their website or whatever the case may be, probably selling individually. So they're going to have to pay specific unique shipping costs for every single item. Like, I get it. But it was a little bit lower than what I wanted. And finally, going back and forth with them a little bit, we ended up settling on like $3,250, so $3,250. And looking over my collection, it was very, very tough. It was one of the toughest things to do, was to say goodbye to something that I had spent the past several years building. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like a lot of people are kind of at this point right now where maybe they're frustrated with Pokemon, maybe their passion for Pokemon isn't the same as what it was a couple years ago, so they're looking at selling out of the hobby, and that's totally fine. Like, I understand if you want to move on and find new things. Like, I totally respect that. Pokemon will always be there. It will always be there if you want to come back to it. But one of the hardest things to do is, if you've poured so much time and energy into this, and then selling it off, it can fill people with regret down the road. So I want to started thinking, so I wonder if I still have the pictures of the conversation I had with this store owner when I sold my collection. And I scrolled back on Facebook Messenger back to 2015, and I found all of our conversation, all of the images going over, page by page in the binder. And I'm going to show it to you guys. This is what I sold off for $3,250 back in 2015. And I figured we would take a look at it and see what it would be worth today. And the value really doesn't matter. Like, I understand it's going to be more. Obviously, it's going to be more. And I was talking to my wife last night, and she's like, "Aren't you upset that you sold it for that little?" And honestly, no, we needed the money at the time. We needed the money to be able to buy the house. Like, that was what was important to us. We were moving into this next step of our lives. Like, I wanted to be able to do that. And the value right now doesn't matter as much as looking through this binder and looking at some of the cool cards that I had that I no longer have, or that I haven't had for a very long time, haven't been able to rebuy. And then if I want to rebuy them, obviously the cost now is significantly different. So I'm not upset about missing out on that money. I'm upset about how much it would cost me now to rebuild this collection. And it's crazy. So we're just going to go through things relatively quickly here, but you can see I had a full art Tornadus EX there, Cresselia, one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, 2 full art EXs there, Articuno EX, I love that card. We had a playset of those. The Lugia EX from Plasma with the Plasma Gale ability. This was a very good card in competitive play. We had 2 of those. Hoopa EX, I had a playset. This was also the time where I played competitively quite frequently, not as much as I would have liked to, but Hoopa EX was a very, very big card in competitive play. We had a Heatran EX right there, Cobalion EX, we had a playset of those. Overall, just on these 2 pages, you're looking at $746 worth of value, which, I mean, that's a pretty penny right there. This one's a little bit tougher to see. Obviously, the camera back in 2015, not nearly as good as it is now, but a playset of Emolga EXs. There's a Florida EX. Here's a Shaman EX from, I think this one is from Next Destinies. I think that was the first printing of the full art Shaman EX. Obviously, we had the bigger one in Roaring Skies, and then there was a promo in Generations. Magnezone EX right there, but then over here, we've got 2 Zekrom EXs. The full art Zekrom EX is absolutely gorgeous. Same thing with the Black Kyurem EX. Very, very cool looking card. And the White Kyurem EX. Both of these right now, I think they're right around $90. I think the Zekrom EX is right around $70. So very expensive cards. All these other ones are relatively cheap right now, including these 3 Sharpedo EXs right down here. Relatively cheap. The bulk of this $659 is being made up by these 6 cards right here. But these other ones you can buy on TCG Player right now for relatively cheap. This page right here, we've got 2 Tornadus EXs, or Thunderous EXs from Roaring Skies. And then we've got 4 Celebi EXs. Celebi EX, beautiful card. I love the artwork on this. EXs, full art EXs, they had the texture. They just popped a lot differently than what we see from full art EXs nowadays. I understand that they have the story EXs and things like that, the special illustration rares. The illustration rares are cool. But these were just, I mean, these were just full art EXs, which were really cool compared to like what the full art Vs are and the full art EXs that we're pulling now today. Even the full art GXs didn't hit as well as the full art EXs did. 3 Toxicroak EXs down here, 2 Meloetta. This is from Legendary Treasures. Then we've got the Mew EX over here, the full art Mew EX. That was also a really good card in competitive play, especially in decks like Night March. Victini EX, Registeel EX, we had a couple copies of, and 3 Shaman EXs also from that Legendary Treasure set. Moving on, we've got 2 XY base Venusaur full art XY base Venusaur EXs, really cool looking card. Virizion EX, Virizion Genesect was a huge deck in 2014-2015. Just, I mean, won Worlds, won multiple regional championships, really, really good. Full art Blastoise EXs from XY base, really cool looking card right there. I love that card. Xerneas EX full art, 2 Latios EXs, which really hasn't risen in value as much as I thought it would. Latios EX, Latias EX, they were relatively expensive back then when I was pricing this out. So to see what they're at today, not a whole lot different. I mean, they are more expensive, but not as much as I thought they would be. Here is the 5 Seismitoad EXs, so a playset plus 1 Seismitoad EX. I love the color scheme on this. This card's actually not that expensive right now, but it was huge in competitive play. Quaking Punch, being able to limit your opponents where they couldn't play item cards anymore was such a big deal. And then you team that up with Verbank City Gym and Hypnotoxic Laser, so you're putting them asleep maybe, and then you're doing a poison on them, and then Verbank City Gym adding additional damage each turn. Seismitoad was a force to be reckoned with in the competitive field. Then we've got 2 Giratina EXs from Dragon's Exalt. This was such a cool card. This is the best full art Giratina EX in my opinion. Then we've got Latias EX, 2 of those. Overall on this page, you've got $658 worth of value, which is insane. Then this page, we've got 2 Dialga EXs, the secret rare from Phantom Forces, which is really a cool card. Really the first time that they kind of introduced the silver gimmick. They had the gold gimmick in Legendary Treasures with the Zekrom and Reshiram. We'll look at those. I think I have one of each of those. But the Dialga EX, really cool card. That's selling for almost $200 right now. Gardevoir EX, I forget what set this one is from. It's not the Primal Clash one. It's just escaping. Maybe it is the Primal Clash one. It's escaping me right now. Evital EX full art. This was also a very good card in competitive play with its Y Cyclone, I think the attack is called, or something like that. It's hard to remember exactly, and I can't see it because the images are blurry. But something like that where you can add damage based off of how many energy are attached to yours and your opponent's Pokemon. Here's the full art Kyogre EX from Dark Explorers. Dark Explorers, Probably one of my favorite modern sets, underprinted quite a bit, but the artwork on a lot of those cards is simply stunning. There's a lot of really cool cards, especially when it comes to full arts in Dark Explorers. It's by far, I think, my favorite modern set. Then we've got Lucario EX from Furious Fist down here, very cool looking card. Hydreigon EX, these are from Roaring Skies. Aggron EX from Primal Clash, I believe. Then we've got two White Kyurem EXs, I think, or Reshiram, two Reshiram EXs right there, very cool. And then two Wailord EXs. Wailord was a huge card in competitive play out of nowhere, came out of nowhere, took second at the national event in the United States, just basically putting up this big Pokemon as a wall, and it's just a stall deck. Like you just can't knock it out, and then eventually your opponent ends up milling you until it's just control, until you can't draw a card. You end up losing because you can't draw any cards. Landorus EX full art. This card was also really big when rotation happened. It was all just kind of messed up. People expected an earlier rotation, and it didn't end up happening. Landorus ended up staying in format, and because of that, it ended up doing extremely well, especially when you paired it up with Zubat, Golbat, and Crobat, which added additional damage counters. Very cool. There's a lot of additional cards in the format that really helped fighting Pokemon, like Fighting Stadium, which added additional damage. And then you had Strong Energy, which also added additional damage. Muscle Band adding additional damage. Overall, on this page right here, we've got $852. Of course, 400-ish of that is being made up just by these Dialga cards right here. You've got another 100-ish right here by the Kyogre EX, so very expensive page right there. Here is one of the cheaper pages, but really cool looking as far as the eyes go, because it's a lot of colors, which is kind of cool. I sound like such a dork. 5 Kangaskhan EXs right there, full arts. I believe that's from XY base. Then we've got Raikou EX, another card from Dark Explorers. Absolutely stunning. Not as expensive right now as far as a market price that I thought it would be. The problem is supply of some of these older Dark Explorers full arts. Not very easy to find in near mint condition, unfortunately. Then Dragonite EX. I believe that one is from Furious Fists. Kangaskhan also might be from Furious Fist. Mega Ampharos EX, so Megas were introduced during the X and Y block. Very cool gimmick that they kind of added on, needing the Spirit Link in order to not end your turn. You could also evolve Mega Evolved by not using the Spirit Link. Of course, that would end your turn. So Mega Ampharos there, and then we've got 5 Mega Latioses. Not very competitive cards right there, but the Primal Groudon EX that you see in the bottom corner, that was a super competitive card. Ended up doing extremely well with that Gaia Volcano. Here's the Reshiram and Zekrom that we were talking about before. Those are both selling for about $100. Then we've got 4 Propagate Execute. So the secret rare Execute from Plasma. These were huge in competitive play. The ability to use this as your discard for the turn, playing Ultra Ball, being able to propagate, bring it back into your hand. It was just such a big deal. So I had to have a playset of them. Of course, I decided just to use the secret rare at the time. These have actually come down in price. They were selling for about $90 about a year ago, and now they're actually selling for about $50, $60, somewhere around there. Then we've got the secret rare Virizion down there. Black and white EXs or black and white secret rares just hit a little bit differently with the gold outline and the way that the Pokemon itself pops a lot more. Really cool looking. Then we've got 2 gold switch cards right there. I believe those are from Primal Clash. Same thing with Weakness Policy, 2 of those. Enhanced Hammer, 2 Energy Switch, a random receiver gold card there, a Dive Ball gold card. And then we've got the full art Shaman EX. Obviously, one of the biggest EXs that were ever printed as far as competitive play goes. Every deck had a play set of these. Just the ability to set up your hand over and over again. Lay down the Shaman, draw multiple cards. Lay down the Shaman, draw multiple cards. Such a big deal. Then we've got the full art Mewtwo EX there overall. This page here, $570. This page is crazy how much these have blown up in price. So we've got the 5 full art Dialga EXs right there from the black and white era. Same thing for Palkia EXs. Really cool looking cards with the plasma black background. Really neat. The full art Rayquaza EX from Dragon's Exalted here. 2 Terrakion EXs up here. And we've got 5 Heracross EXs from Furious Fist and a Trevenant EX from Roaring Skies. I'm kind of guessing here. These 9 cards make up the bulk of this $883. These 6 cards are relatively inexpensive right now. Of course, the Rayquaza EX, I think that one's hovering right around $100 currently. This page over here, we've got 2 full art Tornadus EXs from Plasma, and then 4 full art Charizard EXs from Flashfire. I don't even remember having 4. I know I had a couple, but I don't remember having a whole playset of them. It's not like Charizard was super competitive. I think I just really liked how this this Charizard ended up looking. It turned out really, really cool. I love the artwork on it. Really cool looking card. So we had 4 of those. 3 Malamar EXs, which didn't see a ton of competitive play, but it wasn't bad. 5 Gallade EXs. Here's a Kyurem Full Art EX there. Kyurem Full Art EX there. There's 2 Groudon EXs. That one is from Primal Clash, so not... so that's the one that you would typically evolve into Primal Groudon. However, there was 1 copy of the Dark Explorers that a lot of Primal Groudon decks played because of the Tromp attack. In total, this one is $670 for this page here. Then we've got, this page is probably my favorite because of this card right up here. Mega Houndoom over here. Darkrai EX, one of my favorite cards ever printed. I love the artwork on it. Super cool. Selling for about $150 right now. Jirachi EX with its Stellar Wish ability. This was a huge card in competitive play as well. Being able to search for a supporter card right away was a really, really big deal to increase consistency in your deck. Rayquaza EX Full Art from Roaring Skies. These ones have shot up in price a decent amount. They're selling for about $40 a piece right now. You would use this one to evolve into your Mega Rayquaza, which did really well in competitive play. The Mewtwo EX Full Art, very good competitive card. This one's from Next Destinies, I believe. Then Ho-Oh EX from Dragons Exalted. Beautiful looking card. The best Full Art Ho-Oh EX, in my own opinion. We've got 3 of the big boys right here. 3 Groudon EXs from Dark Explorers. I love this card. Such a cool looking card. It just, the color scheme runs together so well. The artwork looks so good. This guy is ready for battle. 2 Genesect EX Full Arts. Really cool looking card as well with the plasma background. And then we've got 4 Manectric EXs. Mega Manectric was not a great competitive deck. It didn't do bad. It topped, and I think it did win a regional event, but that was kind of my favorite deck to play at the time. Overall, this page, $937. I got to move a little faster here. I'm probably losing some of you guys. Thunderous EX over here, full art. We've got 7 Skarmory EXs, 8 full art Mew EXs from the Radiant Collection of Legendary Treasures. Really cool. Latios EX from Roaring Skies down here. In total, $467 in value on that page. This was a much bigger page now than what it used to be. This page was not as crazy in 2015. Champions Festival staff right here selling for about $300-$400 right now. Then we've got 2 Shining Steelixes, 1 Shining Mewtwo. Here's the Shining Charizard right here. Crazy. Shining Gyarados over here. Here's the Secret Rare Plasma Charizard, Secret Rare Empoleon, Secret Rare Rayquaza. In total, this page is nuts. $3,690. More value on just this page alone right now than what I sold the entire collection for back in 2015. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy to think about. We've got a reverse hollow Crystal Golem over here. And then we've got hollow Crystal Kabutops, Crystal Kingdra, and Crystal Nidoking. Then as Gold Star Jolteon, Gold Star Flareon, and here's the big boy over here, a Gold Star Umbreon, which is selling for crazy amounts right now. If you can find one even in decent condition. Obviously these 2 from sets, this one just from the Pop series. Very difficult to find this one and the Espeon Gold Star, but $4,000 worth of value made up by just these 7 cards. Those are just raw prices. That's not even including graded prices or anything like that. You can see just sitting in a binder, I didn't grade a whole lot of cards. $4,054, absolutely insane. This is a fun page to look at because of all the Junipers. Obviously, Juniper being able to discard your hand, draw 7 new cards was a big thing. You need to do that in order to increase consistency in your deck. We've got 4 Primal Kyogres right there, 3 full art ends. Being able to shuffle, that was just a huge disruption card, or adding consistency to your deck, depending on what time of the game you had to play it. Full art Professor Birch right there, and then there's your 9 Junipers in total. $1,261 worth of value on this page. This page over here, more gold stars. I remember buying Raikou Entei gold stars for $60, $70 at the time, which was absolutely insane when you think about it now. A lot of gold stars sold for $70, $80 back in 2015. Obviously right now they're a lot more expensive, but we got 2 Vaporeon gold stars, the Gyarados gold star right here, then 2 Raikou, 2 Entei, and then the Mew gold star down here. In total, these 8 cards, $3,400 worth of value right now. Absolutely insane. Then we've got some megas over here. We've got 3 full art Mega Gallades right there. We've got 4 full art Mega Rayquazas. This makes up the majority of the value right now on this page. Really cool looking card, but also Emerald Break. Huge attack. Lets you do an amount of damage dependent on how many benched Pokemon you had on the field. And you had Skyfield as a stadium card then, which lets you have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench. It could hit really hard, really fast. Mega Lucario, I couldn't tell. I think this one right here is just the regular. I think you can kind of see gold borders on this one, but I just priced these all as regular ones. I think these two are the secret rare ones, and this one is just the regular one. Then we've got 2 Mega Gallades, a Mega Tyranitar, and then 2 Mega Venusaurs from the X and Y era, X and Y base. This was $358 of value on that page, and then $560 on this page, with most of the value being made up of these 2 full art irises right here. Really cool looking full art supporter. We had a battle reporter right there, and then we've got AZ, 2 of those, a fossil researcher, 4 Getsis, which was a really big competitive card after I believe it was Wailord that kind of came out and made Getsis really, really good. And then 2 full art Karinas right there from Furious Fist, in total $560 on that one. And we've got $1,231 on this one right here. We had 6 of the Dragon Mega Rayquaza. This one was not as good as the colorless version, the full art one. This one did not have a full art in the set, but also tried to do a little bit in competitive play, but it was tough to find consistency with the whole different energy attachments and things like that. And then I do believe that these 2 are secret rare Mega Gengars. You can see kind of the gold border on these ones. So I believe those 2. I couldn't tell on this one, so I think I priced this one as a regular Mega Gengar. I think I did 2 gold and then 2 regular right here, but we had a play set of those. We had 2 Mega Charizards. These are from Flashfire right here. I priced those as just the regular ones. And then 3 Mega Charizards, the blue version. I believe I priced these 2 as the secret rare version. This one as the regular one. I think the gold borders you can kind of see them. And then the Primal Groudon, we had 3 different ones of those, in total $1,231 worth of value on that page right there. I think we're almost done. Another full art supporter page here. Full art Skyla from Boundaries Crossed. Very expensive card. Very cool card. Colress, obviously very, very big card. Lets you shuffle your hand into your deck and draw the amount of cards that is determined by the amount of bench Pokemon that are on the field. Both you and your opponent, at one point in time when Skyfield was active, if you and your opponent had 8 benched Pokemon each, you could Colress for 16, which was absolutely insane. Winona, 2 full arts there. Full art Wally. Then we've got 2 full art Sharons. I think that's from Boundaries Crossed. I can't remember exactly what Sharon is from. Bianca full art. 4 Pokemon fan clubs. 4 Xerosics. And then 1 Archie's Ace in the Hole. Obviously a big card in the World Championships in 2015, 2016, somewhere around there, whenever Archie's Blastoise ended up winning. $880 worth of value on that page. If you add it all together, so this is just adding this together. This did not include any of the bulk, any of the holo rares, any of the staples, any of the regular art. So I had a ton of regular art EXs, a ton of vintage cards, things like that. But in total, just these pages, $22,681 is the value of those cards today. Now, the important thing to remember is that if you are looking at selling your collection, the chances of what happening to Pokemon back during the pandemic happening again, obviously very, very slim. Nobody knows what the future looks like for Pokemon. But if you are looking at selling your collection, if you need the money, and if you're just like, I just don't anticipate ever being involved in Pokemon again, I don't think Pokemon's going to be for me in the future, I want to move on to other hobbies and things like that, then by all means, I think that's something you should consider. However, if it's like, unless you're in a position where you definitely need to do it, if you're like, I don't want to get out of Pokemon, I understand adulting, things happen. I told myself when I sold the collection, I was like, I can always buy cards back. Like, once things get better, I'll buy cards back. But it would cost $22,681 just to rebuild that binder. So it's definitely something to consider if you're ever looking at selling off your collection or things like that. It can be a tough thing. It can be a tough situation. Looking back on it now, looking at all those cards that I used to own, obviously it would cost me a lot more to build that. And I thought it would just be kind of fun to look at and see where the value is now, which is absolutely crazy, absolutely. But it's more the stories that go along with all those cards. So I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. Ultimately, I just appreciate you guys being here. So thank you so much for everything. I will see you guys tomorrow on this channel. We'll be having our pack break at 1 p.m. Central Time. So I hope to see you there. Until next time, guys. Peace.